Presentation project, scene 7-1 alpha, take 6.
My name is Peter Buckle. I'm an instructor with the digital filmmaking program at the College of the North Atlantic. And this is Keith.
Yes, I'm one of the instructors also, and I'm also the producer of this film, I Dare Say.
Intersession is a 7-week semester where the students learn the art of making films through making a film. The whole process to Intersession is that we have myself and Keith, the two instructors, work side by side with the students, along with hiring a director to work side by side with the students. And throughout that 7 weeks, we develop a story, we do all the pre-production work for it, we go out and shoot the film, and finally we get into the post-production side of things and edit it, color correction, sound mix, and all of post-production work. And at the end of it, we actually show it. So we go through all the different stages of development.
All right, guys, lock it up.
Who went off out of jail? Cut the crack, Jack. Cut the crack. Cut the crack, man! Hey, we're gonna cut there. Angry. That's right.
I'm Jordan Avery. I was the assistant director on the Intersession film, I Dare Say. My job was to keep the production on schedule and make sure that we covered all of our shots. Well, we're about an hour behind, but we're talking about making some cuts to a couple of shots right now, and we should be able to catch up in about, I'd say another 15-20 minutes. We'll be ready to go.
It happened on November night when all hands were asleep. They crept over Joketo's Hill and stole my Martha's sheep. Cut.
My name is Lucas Wilson, and I was the editor on I Dare Say. An editor is basically the person who takes all the footage from the film and puts it in order and cuts it together. During production, when everyone else was out shooting the film, I stayed behind and I would edit the previous day's footage.
My name is Sean White, and I was first AC on the production of I Dare Say, first camera assistant. Job would be to assist the camera operator in any way possible. Usually it's switching out lenses. And they stole Aunt Martha's sheet. Swapping out the 24 lens for a 35. And probably the most important aspect of that job is to follow focus, or to, rack from one character to another. Basically, you want to keep the field of view on the subject.
I am the script supervisor. I don't do much in terms of between takes, but when a take happens, I have to pay attention to all continuity, make sure all the lines are hit. Yes, and I record everything on my papers, and I have to use a stopwatch to make sure everything goes well. I'm essentially the eyes for the editor on set.
My name is Robin Anthony, and I was Best Boy Grip on the I Dare Say Intersession film. My job on the set was mostly a lot of paperwork. I was supposed to keep everything documented and organized, and I was also supposed to make sure everything was set up correctly.
I'm Mason Daw. I was the sound mixer on the film I Dare Say. My job entailed basically making sure that the audio that came in from the boom operator's microphone was decent. It didn't sound like too loud or too soft, and it was just basically just right. The biggest challenge I think on set for me personally was trying to organize all of my various cords on the one cart really quickly, because there was a lot of cables that I would have to rearrange, make sure they're operating fine and such like that. And just doing that all solo was just a lot of work within a certain amount of time.
I'm Manel Hodnott, and I was the boom operator. And my job was to capture that audio with the boom. I guess I liked working in the studio the best. I liked following actors with the boom pole. That was really fun, trying to capture the audio as they were walking.
Well, one of the things I loved doing on set was giving out some towels for the actors during that scene. On the slipway at the wharf in Cape St. George. I thought that was a lot of fun too.
You know, I've been in the film business for almost 45 years, if not more, and I've been involved in shooting films, both narrative and documentaries, in many different countries. And I've never found the positivity and the ability to say yes as people from the Bay St. George area. The town of Cape St. George, we needed a swimming pool, for example, to simulate a drowning. And they said, absolutely no problem, our pool is yours. And just so many things in the community. You don't find that anywhere else in the world. I've never found that, and it's always been that way in Steveville.
I think from now on, every intercession film needs to have a pool sequence, because I like to swim.
My name's Katie Horwood. I was key grip on the intercession film I Dare Say. My job was basically like talking with the director of photography and my crew about what needed to be carried out in respects to like lighting and the atmosphere and like aesthetic of the film. Probably one of my favorite experiences from the production was when we went to the pool and we got to go in the water and create the waves. I thought that was really fun.
Recitation project scene. Something, take one.
Yeah, challenges for me, and I think for the class in general, the day that we did the green screen, which was St. Peter's Gate. Green screen can be a very complicated method, purely based on the way it's shot and then the way it's going to be edited. So I think for me that day was a little bit more complicated because when, for example, if you were going to do a reverse shot, a turnaround, traditionally in filmmaking with a regular backdrop, you would just turn the camera the other direction. But with green screen, you're not doing that. You're keeping the camera in one position. So it takes a lot of creative thinking on how you're going to go about it so that when we get into the editing room, it's going to cut together and be positioned the way we want it to go. So I'd say for me, that was the most challenging aspect.
This side of the frame? He was on the right
So
side.
then,
Yeah.
as they walked away, he switched to the
They went center frame, didn't
But
they?
this is before that, this is when he's still looking at him.
Yeah, so he should be on left. No.
No, he should be on the right.
Yes, he should be on right.
So he was on the right, he was on this side of the frame
Yes.
as them, and so now he should be a little bit, you should be just, no,
Should we just turn a little bit?
Yeah.
My name is Raymond Campbell, and I was the camera operator on the production of I Dare Say. As the camera operator on this project, I operated the camera, needless to say, and I made sure all the settings were right on the camera. Along with being the camera operator, I was also the compositor on this intercession film. As the compositor, I added the visual effects to this film, and with that being said, I keyed out the green screen. I also added certain things like the halo to Michael's head, and the way I did that was I had to track his face so that there's 3D tracking points on each part of his face. And then I took one of those tracking points and added an object to it. That object was the letter O, because it's a circle like a halo. And then I added depth to it in 3D space, rotated it, and put it on top of his head. Turned it gold and added a glow. So another cool thing I did in compositing was there's this part of the film where Michael and Mary are talking to Fred, but they're all the same height. So we want Fred as St. Peter to be a lot taller than Michael and Mary. So in compositing, I could resize them. Another bit of movie magic that we did was we made it rain in a scene where originally we only had one hose spraying on the actors. To do that, we filmed a black screen with a hose above it dripping down across the frame. And with that black screen, we could take the black out and put the scene behind it and make it look like it was raining harder than it was because it wasn't raining at all.
My name is Josh Andrews, and I was the second camera assistant on the production of I Dare Say. My job as second camera assistant involved marking where actors would have to stand on sets, marking the slate. The purpose of that is to sync up the audio with the visuals and to keep a recording of all the shots that we took. So there's a lot of paperwork involved, and I worked, closely with the rest of my camera team to set up the camera and, the tripod.
So you're hoping to go to heaven?
Oh, I know I'm going to heaven. Good church-going girl like myself? My dear, I got the golden gilded invitation.
My name's Andrew Pike, and I was the gaffer on I Dare Say.
My name's Curtis Patey. I was the best boy lighting on I Dare Say.
My name's Jay Lee, and I was the light tech on the movie I Dare Say.
Basically, my role as gaffer is I was the head of the lighting department, so my main job was to listen to the cinematographer and take light readings for him and make sure the lights are set up in the way that he asks.
My job as a best boy in lighting, a majority of it revolved around the wiring and the electrical work. I had to run the generator. I had to be monitoring constantly the wattage going into every outlet to make sure nothing, there wasn't too much voltage, it wasn't gonna blow a breaker. It was also a lot of inventory management stuff. That was the main bulk of my job.
My job was going back and forth to both the best boy, gaffer, and if I can't find out what to do from those guys, I would also ask the cinematographer if there's anything at all I can get done.
Well, we were trying to put up a giant diffusion, and the wind is so up today. You can see my hair that it was blowing everywhere, and it became a danger for the crew and the gentleman's tractor over here. So we couldn't risk the damage. So we're going to go with a strong backlight. Is what the DOP wants to go with, Peter. So we'll just go for a strong backlight and still look as good. But if the wind dies down, we've got it on standby. So it all works out.
I'm Parker Squire, and I was the costume person for I Dare Say. I was responsible for putting together outfits for each actor, and that proved to be insanely difficult because there was nothing that fit anybody. So I just had to try to find clothes that fit, and that was insanely hard.
The most memorable experience for me was personally lighting the night scene.
The thing that stood out most to me during production was the night shoot.
To the night shoot.
Shooting out the night scene.
Working on the night shoot.
The wood scene would be the night shoot.
And there's something really electric about night shoots, something that's kind of magical in a corny way. It's so magical.
Little production meeting before we go out there. One of the reasons why is because we are shooting on the edge of a cliff. So therefore safety is a huge concern for us. I don't want anybody going near the cliff other than the actor, and that will be well thought out before the actor goes anywhere near the edge of the cliff. And it'll only be for the take. We don't need production crew to go through by the cliff, so that'll be fine. Now, as you can see, we're going to get a beautiful sunset. That's something that we can, so get your cameras out because it is going to be quite nice.
Last night of production.
My name's Eric White, and I was the artistic director for the film I Dare Say. As the artistic director, I was responsible for getting the set ready. I did the blueprints, and then I got a bunch of people to come down and help me set it up. I did some scenic painting, and I was also responsible for getting the props that the actors would use.
Thank you a lot, seriously.
That's a wrap on the film as well. We're done shooting.
Try that one again. We need more energy.
Yeah.
More energy. Take two.
Say, that's a wrap on principal photography.
That's a wrap on principal photography.
I would say the thing that keeps me coming back to direct the Intercession films is the students. They all, I know that they appreciate what we do here so much. And this Intercession semester is so different from anything that our film school had, myself and Peter, when we were in school from 2006, 2008. I don't know any other film school that does an Intercession semester like this. This is what they have done, Peter and Keith, by crafting this program and then crafting this semester, putting it, letting the students really experience what a professional movie set is from start to finish, all done within a very short time frame, is something that I've never seen before, and I think it gives the best level of education to these students. So I would say, hands down, what keeps me coming back is the students, because I can remember what I was like when I was a first-year student, and I remember wanting to learn and being passionate. And I so wish that we had had a program or a semester that was like this, and we didn't. So for me to get to add to it and lend my experience is something that I don't take for granted.